Hello, and thank you for joining me today as I discuss study abroad in the College of Science. My name is Krista Miller, and I'm the Global Experiences Coordinator in the College of Science. Basically, I'm the study abroad advisor for any students that are majoring in a science. I work in the Office of Science Engagement. Our office consists of three things: study abroad, undergraduate research, and career development. So if you ever have any questions about these subjects while you're here at Penn State, I encourage you to come check us out. Especially all of you will be interested to know that our career development person looks at resumes. So if you are hoping to apply to grad school or a job after you graduate from here, it's a great idea to stop by and have her take a look at your resume. We're located in Rittenhour Building on the second floor, very close to the Science Advising Center. So today we're going to talk about study abroad at Penn State, and study abroad can mean many different things depending on who you speak to. Here at Penn State, study abroad is an experience in another country for which you receive academic credit at Penn State, and that's the important thing. The academic credit differentiates study abroad here at Penn State from something that you might see elsewhere. Here on campus, there is an Education Abroad office that manages the study abroad process for the entire university. So I do not work in that office, but I work closely with them. I'm in the College of Science, and I can often help you answer questions, but if not, the Education Abroad office is there as well. All courses and grades that you take while you are studying abroad will transfer to your Penn State transcript. So these credits can count towards graduation. They can count towards major requirements, anything like that. Also, you'll keep in mind that your abroad semester is factored into your GPA. Now, it is possible to go on a non-Penn State program. Those are programs that Penn State has not partnered with. It's perfectly fine to do those. You just want to know that you will need to take a leave of absence from the university if you plan to go during the fall or spring semesters. And those courses that you take on those types of programs are treated like transfer credits. So the same way as if you go home over the summer and take a class at a local university, those are transferred in through admissions, and the grades don't count, but the credits do. So when you're thinking about study abroad, there are many different things to consider. There's a lot that goes into making a decision, and I'm just going to go over a few of those things now. The first thing to consider is the location, and I think this is the most fun thing to consider. Where do you want to study abroad? At Penn State, we have 350 programs in over 50 countries, so it's likely that there's a program in a place that you want to go. Now, on this map here, you'll see several large areas circled. Those are what we call in the study abroad world non-traditional locations. It's basically everywhere except for Western Europe and Australia and New Zealand. I've highlighted these because these are destinations that have more scholarships and financial aid available to students who choose to go to these locations simply because they're not as popular as the traditional locations. Another thing to consider is the type and length of program. We have many different types of program here at Penn State, ranging from programs that are taught by Penn State faculty and include only Penn State students, to programs where you enroll in a foreign institution just like you were a student at that school. We also have programs that allow students to do research or volunteer or to do internships. So there's really a wide variety of programs that you can choose from. Similarly, the length of the program can vary. I know a lot of students think of the traditional study abroad experience as going abroad for a spring semester, but we also have shorter term programs that can take place over the summer or even over winter break or spring break. So those are often a really good choice for students in the College of Science that have really defined schedules while you're here. It might be easier for you to go abroad over the summer or spring or winter break. One thing that's really important for students in the College of Science to consider is your academics. As I just mentioned, the students in this college often have pretty rigorous schedules. So you want to know when you go abroad if you're going to be needing to take science courses. or if you're going to work on fulfilling your gen eds while you're abroad, or if you can take whatever you want. Because often academics are going to be a limiting factor if students do need to take sciences while they're abroad. That's certainly possible to do. It's just something that we need to take into consideration when choosing a program. Then after that, you also want to think about where will study abroad fit into your time here at Penn State. Again, science students have lots of prerequisites. They have lots of courses that are a track of 1, 2, 3. So you want to make sure you take into consideration when you're going to be able to fit your study abroad program in. Also for pre-med students, you want to think about the process for applying to med school. You want to make sure that your study abroad experience doesn't affect your med school applications. The cost of study abroad is, of course, an important thing to consider. This cost can vary depending on the program length. Short-term programs usually have a smaller price tag than a semester, but if you look at that pricing overall, it might actually make more sense to go on a semester if a student hasn't necessarily planned to pay tuition over a summer semester. Then that might be a lot of extra added expense to pay for that tuition by credit over the summer. The destination really does factor into the cost of your study abroad program. Australia is a really popular destination for students to go to, but the cost of living in Sydney is very high, as are the exchange rates. For a lot of students that want to go to Spain, for example, it might be a more financially viable option to go somewhere in Latin America or South America, where the exchange rate and the cost of living is much lower. Of course, there's a lot of opportunity for students to plan ahead and save money to use student aid and scholarships and grants, and I'll get into that a little bit more later in this presentation. I'm going to now go over several different types of programs that we offer, and I'm going to highlight some of the science options as I go through these. So the first type of program is an embedded program. This is a study abroad program that's tied to a residential course here on campus. So basically what you do is you'll take a course here on campus during spring semester, and then over spring break, you will travel to a location that has to do with what you've been studying in class. These are taught by Penn State faculty members, and you will go abroad with Penn State students. Usually embedded courses are very short. They're the shortest options that we offer, and they're 7 to 10 days. In the College of Science, we have 2 embedded programs. One of them is Anatomy in Italy, where you study anatomy here on campus, and then over spring break you head to Florence and other locations in Italy to take a look at how anatomy was looked at in the Renaissance. We have another program, also biology, coastal biology. You study that during the semester, and then over spring break you go to Curacao, and every student does some research on the coral reefs there, and then you come back and finish up writing about your research for the rest of the semester. Another type of program is a faculty-led program. These are very similar to embedded, except for the entire course takes place abroad. So you begin and end your course in a foreign location. Again, this is with Penn State students and taught by Penn State faculty. These ones are usually a little bit longer, 2 to 10 weeks. So for the most part, they take place over the summer. But 2 of ours actually take place over winter break as well. So you can see the list there of all of those programs, several to Costa Rica, then to China and Africa and the Caribbean. Now, if any of you are planning to go abroad for a semester, it's most likely that you will go on an exchange or direct enroll program. These programs are really beneficial to science students who need to take upper-level science courses while you're abroad. This type of program allows you to directly enroll at a host university. So basically you are going to become a student at the University of Leeds or wherever it is that you decide to go. So you're in class with students from that country. You have selection of the courses that they get to select from. Usually these programs are a semester long, but it's on occasion they have a summer program, or you can even stay a whole year if you like. And then you can see this chart on the right here shows you the courses that are available at the University of Leeds. You can see that students have gone and taken upper level biology, statistics, B&B courses. So you really do have access to whatever type of course you need on this type of program. Another type of program is called the third-party provider program, and that's when Penn State has partnered with an outside institution who will provide classes at a study center in another country. So this third-party provider has set up a study center and provides their own instructors, and students can go there and take classes from those instructors. Usually you are studying with U.S. students, not necessarily from Penn State. Usually there'll be a few others from Penn State, but they are pretty much all students from the United States. These can be semester, summer, year-long programs. For the most part, these programs do not have upper-level science courses, simply because the majority of students that study abroad aren't looking to take that type of class abroad. But these are great programs if you're looking to just fulfill your gen ed credits. That being said, there are several third-party provider programs that might be interesting to a certain subset of students here in the College of Science, especially if you have an ecology or sustainability outlook on your major. So a lot of biology students might find this of interest. And then there is one program in Madrid that might have some science courses, but it is a little bit limited, so we'd have to look into that further if you're interested. Another option for students is to do research abroad, and like everything else, this can come in a variety of different ways. The easiest way is if you're doing a semester abroad, you can go to a place like University College Dublin or to Monash University in Australia, and then these universities offer one of the courses you take for the semester to be a research course. So, you'll take your 4 or 5 classes, but one of them is going to be a research placement, and the university that you're studying at will actually help you to find your placement, to find a lab to put yourself in. And this is a really great opportunity. They have actually really expressed interest in having American students join their labs. They're really excited about that prospect. So, I know sometimes undergraduate research placements can be difficult to find here at Penn State. So this might be a great opportunity for you to go abroad and really get into a lab pretty easily. There are 2 other types of study abroad research opportunities as well. Another one is called the Euro Scholars Program, and this is actually an entire semester of research. So a lot of people don't have the ability to clear their semester for just research. You'll come back with about 12 or 15 research credits, so it might not be for everybody, but if it is for you, this is a fantastic experience. It takes place at several different universities across Europe. When you apply to the program, you receive a list of all the lab placements, and then you pick your top 3, and then you get placed into one of those. Now, if this sounds appealing to you, but you can't take an entire semester to do research, we also have a program called DOD Rise. It takes place in Germany, and it's over the summer. So it works the same way as Euro Scholars, where you apply to the program, and you get a list of the placements, and then you choose your top 3. But instead of a semester, it takes place over the summer. So that's a good option for a lot of students as well. So now that you've got all of this information, how do you start the study abroad process? What do you do first? The biggest thing for everybody in the College of Science is to figure out your academics and whether there are going to be any academic limitations on the type of program that you choose and when you choose it. So I would recommend that the next time you speak to your academic advisor, you mention that you would like to study abroad while you're here at Penn State. That way you can start to have a conversation about what you need to accomplish before you go abroad. You can know if there's any prerequisites you need to make sure you take care of, anything like that, and then what you will need to accomplish while you are abroad. Will you need to take some upper level science classes while you're there? Will you need to take care of all your gen eds? What is it that you need to do to be successful while you're abroad? Once you kind of have that in mind and you've had that discussion with your academic advisor, you can come meet with me in the Office of Science Engagement, and I can talk to you about the types of programs that will help you to accomplish your academic goals. But this part really is a conversation that happens with me and the student and the academic advisor all together. I know a lot of you in your first year seminar classes have filled out this example academic plan. If you haven't seen these before, you can usually type in your major and then recommended academic plan, Penn State, into a search engine, and it will pop up with one of these for whatever major you are. It's a good idea to take one of these out and look at it while you're thinking about planning for your study abroad semester. And this is actually more useful for students that plan to go abroad for a semester. If you're only planning to go abroad for a summer, it doesn't take too much work to figure out how you can fit that in, because you're not really taking away from your normal classes while you're abroad over the summer. But if you are planning to go abroad for a semester, it's a good idea to take a look at a recommended academic plan to see how you can sort of adjust your schedule to make your study abroad semester successful, and then also the rest of your semesters at Penn State to make those successful as well. While you're abroad, it is the easiest to take an elective course, so something that only counts as credits towards graduation. It's really easy to take those abroad because it can be anything that you want it to be. It's also pretty easy to find general education credits while you're abroad. I would say that almost every program that I've seen has some type of gen ed credit available, so those are really good things to take while you're abroad. If you need to take sciences, like I've said, that's absolutely possible to do. It just limits the program selection a little bit. But even when you are taking sciences, it's easier to take sort of general science classes or upper level 400 level classes that don't have any specific credits attached to them, because we can take a look at the types of classes that seniors take in England, and just as long as you are choosing from those classes, then we'll know that they'll transfer back as 400 levels here at Penn State. It's most difficult to take something like English 202C or Biology 416, something like that while you're abroad, just because we have to make sure that the subjects and the content of the course line up pretty much exactly to what's here at Penn State. So the more flexibility you have in your class choice and your class schedule, the easier it will be to have a successful semester abroad. This can all look kind of scary, but that's what your academic advisor, and that's what I am here to help you with. You don't have to figure this out on your own. It's a conversation that you can come in and have with me. We can take a look at your schedule and work things out, and then show it to an academic advisor and make sure that they agree that that's the best course of action. The next thing you're going to want to do is start searching for programs once you know whether you have any academic restrictions or limitations on what you want to do. And the place that you do this is at global.psu.edu. The program database is maintained by the Education Abroad office that I mentioned earlier. And when you go into this database, you'll see all of the programs that Penn State works with. So I'm going to go ahead and show that to you now. You're going to go ahead to global.psu.edu. Then you want to go to Education Abroad, Students, and Program Search. So here there's a couple of different search options for you. You can search by term if you're looking to go abroad spring or summer. You can search by a country or by a region. And then also, if you do an advanced search, you can search by the courses offered. For example, biochemistry there. I will say that you should use this course search with a word of caution, just because these tags are put on by the Education Abroad office. So number one, they don't have quite the depth of knowledge on each science major that we do here in the college, but also they're thinking broadly for all students across Penn State. So if you look at the biology programs that pop up, sometimes the only biology course they have is going to be Bio 101, something really introductory that, a history major might look to take abroad to fulfill their natural science requirement. So it doesn't always indicate the most appropriate one for a biology major, but it is a good starting point. I also have a list in my office of what I call science-friendly programs. So I've pulled out all of the programs that offer upper-level sciences, and I've made a list of those so that you can have that as a resource. I will be looking to put that up on our website soon, but it may not be there yet. Anyway, this is a good place to start. I'm going to go ahead and do a simple search, and I'm going to do Australia because I know that's a popular place for many students, and I'm going to look at a spring semester. So you can see that there's quite a few programs in Australia. You can go ahead and click on one that interests you. Go ahead and look at this one. And then this is what we call the program brochure page. And it has a lot of information about the program. Up at the top here, you can see the GPA requirement. All programs have a minimum GPA. You can see a minimum class standing. So this means on this program, you have to be at least a sophomore when you apply, but you can also be a junior or a senior. It's always good to double check the language of instruction and the language requirement. Even if you speak another language, I really don't think you're going to want to take your science classes in another language while you're abroad. So you always want to check that those are in English. And there's also a program overview, any prereqs, and then housing and meal information. Also back at the top up here is a budget sheet, so you can click on that and take a look at how much this will cost as a student, what you'll be paying. This billable subtotal here is what would appear on your bursar bill, and then these expenses are what we estimate you will pay out of pocket for the total expense here. You're going to always make sure that you're double checking sometimes there's a program fee that appears up in the billable subtotals, which might include housing and meals. In this case, this program includes housing down here and meals, but you do always want to check about what's included in that program fee that you might see. I also want to point out this Apply Now button. This is where you would apply to the program once you've decided what you want to do. So we'll go back into the PowerPoint now. That's how you search for programs. Just a reminder, the Education Abroad office is a really good resource for you. Obviously, they host the program search database, but they also have Education Abroad advisors that you can meet with. Those advisors have program-specific knowledge. So you're going to want to come to me as an academic resource, but sometimes if you have questions on the accommodations that might go with the program or the application process, it might be better to go to an Education Abroad advisor. Also, when you're just starting out, they have a great resource called peer advisors. So these are students who have been abroad and are now back at Penn State, and they're very excited to talk to you about their semester abroad. You'll find out if you end up going abroad that when you come back, all you want to do is talk about your semester abroad. Your friends and your family will be really excited to hear about that initially, but after about 2 weeks, they're going to kind of lose interest, but you're still going to want to talk to everybody you can about your time abroad. So these peer advisors are just like that, and they are very excited to talk to anyone who is willing to listen to them. So if you find one of these peer advisors that went to a location that maybe you're looking at, or even a school that you're looking at, they're going to be a really great resource for you to help you figure out if that program is right for you and maybe what to pack and all of that exciting stuff. So the Education Abroad website, global.psu.edu, also has a lot of good information and resources. If you're ever looking for an answer to a question, you might be able to find it on their website. So after you've decided how academics might impact your semester abroad, and you've taken a look at all the programs that are available to you, the next step is to apply. And I showed you on the website the Apply Now button where you can go ahead and submit an application. The application is really pretty simple. It's 3 short answer questions about why you chose the program and how it will fit into your academic plan. It also does include a recommendation that you need to get from either your academic advisor or a professor. So you just want to make sure that you give them a heads up that they're going to receive you're requesting a recommendation from them, and give them enough time to complete that before the deadlines. You can see in this box over here the deadlines. If you're looking to go abroad during the summer, just apply February 1st of the semester before. Quick heads up, if you're looking to go during the spring semester, you want to make sure that you apply the year before, basically. So if you're looking to go abroad spring of your junior year, you want to apply to that program by May 1st of your sophomore spring. last thing you want to think about is the funding source for your semester abroad. If your experience is for credit, any federal aid that you have from the government will apply to your semester abroad. So basically, if you search and look, if you apply to a program that is on that database that I showed you a few minutes ago, your financial aid, federal aid will apply to your semester abroad because we still consider you a student at Penn State. A lot of times, any scholarships you might receive from Penn State will also apply, but I would encourage you to double check with your funding source there to make sure that there's no special considerations with the scholarship. Now, there are scholarships that Penn State offers that are specifically for study abroad experience. Several of them are offered through the Education Abroad office. So when you apply to a program, embedded in that application will be several scholarship applications. So you want to make sure to fill those out because you will then be considered for all of those scholarships. If you don't fill them out, the answer is definitely no. As I mentioned, there are more scholarship opportunities for students who are going abroad to a non-traditional location, so anything but Western Europe or Australia and New Zealand. So that is something to consider as well. Every student in the College of Science that goes on one of these programs is eligible for a study abroad scholarship from the college. I have access to the science students who apply to study abroad, so I will always send those students a reminder. But if you want to take a look, the scholarship application is available on our website, which is scienceengagement.psu.edu. Then you can go to Education Abroad and Global Experiences Scholarship. The application is available here, but right now if you click on it, the application process is closed, so you'd have to come back later. The deadlines are the same as the application for your program. That way we can let a student know what type of scholarship money they'll be receiving before they have to commit to a program. So if you're worried about money and finances for your study abroad experience, I still encourage you to apply to a program, and then you can hear from the Education Abroad office and the College of Science about any type of scholarship support you'll receive for a program before you have to say yes or no, I want to go on this program. So you can kind of make an informed decision based on the scholarship money that will be available to you. Another type of scholarship that might be available to students, if anybody's in Schreier, they do have a travel grant, the ambassador grant, that you can apply for. And if anyone else has a major or a minor in another college, it's worth checking with that college to see if they have any study abroad scholarships that you can apply to. After you've exhausted all of those opportunities, I encourage you to check out the Office of Student Aid here on campus. They actually have a lot of scholarship resources and are contacted all the time by people who are looking to give money to Penn State students. So you can actually even follow them on Twitter or maybe Instagram or Facebook. I'm not sure exactly what they have, but I know they have a Twitter where they send out all of this scholarship information all the time. So you can always look there for scholarship opportunities. And also the Education Abroad office has some resources for some outside scholarship opportunities as well. I also just want to show you quickly how a semester abroad compares to a semester here at Penn State, because I know looking at some of those budgets, it can be kind of shocking to see $25,000 for a semester abroad. So this spreadsheet here has, in the first column, estimated expenses for a semester for an in-state student at Penn State for one semester. So again, all these numbers are for in-state students. These tuition dollars might be a little outdated from a year or two ago, but at least they're consistent across the board. So you get an idea that a semester at Penn State for an in-state student is usually about $17,000, including housing, meals, tuition, all of that. Usually comes out to about $17,000. If you're looking to go to Madrid for a semester, it's actually going to be $21,000, so just about $4,000 more than a semester here at Penn State. Yes, $4,000 is a lot, but if you think about it, you've got to pay $1,000 to fly yourself over there. Maybe you can get $1,000 or $2,000 worth of scholarships. So then you're paying, an extra $1,000 to have an experience and spend a semester in Madrid. If you think about it that way, it's a little bit more reasonable and not quite as scary. Though I do know that, extra $4,000 is quite a bit of money for a lot of people. Hopefully it's something that you can sort of budget for before you go abroad if you start planning now to save up a little bit every year to make that affordable for you. If $4,000 still sounds like a lot of money and you're willing to be flexible, there are definitely some programs that are the same price or even a teeny bit cheaper than a semester at Penn State. So there are opportunities for those of you that are feeling that finances might be a limiting factor to your semester abroad. For example, the National University of Singapore, if you spend a semester there, you're actually going to pay about $500 or $600 less than a semester at Penn State. So as long as you're willing to be flexible with where you can go, we can still find programs that will give you upper level science credit at an affordable price. That being said, there are definitely some programs that are very, very expensive. I know some of the programs in Australia can be upwards of about $30,000. So you definitely want to keep in mind looking at those budget sheets when you do check things out, because you want to make sure that you don't ruin your financial future by going abroad. So thank you very much for listening to me today. This is, once again, a list of our short-term science programs. These all provide upper-level science credit. For the most part, it's in biology, but we do occasionally have a physics or a B&B program as well. If you're interested in any of these programs, you can get more information on scienceengagement.psu.edu. And if you have any more questions about study abroad, feel free to contact me. My office is in 223 Rittenhour, or you can send me an email at kcm15@psu.edu. I'm happy to help you and to answer any questions you might have about study abroad. Thank you very much.